Hello and welcome to Pop Along RC. Now, another little bit of information for you today. We're talking car shells.
Body shells, yeah. Body shells. What does it all mean, Carl? Look at them. They all look completely different.
But they all look the same. They all look like toy cars to me.
They are toy cars, yeah. But the body shell makes a huge difference when you're racing.
Definitely. So, we come from a background of racing the Tamiya Mini. And we had a bit of a wake-up call at the Iconic Cup this year, didn't we?
We certainly did.
So if you have a look at the Tamiya Mini shell, you can see that it looks like a Mini. It looks fantastic. It looks iconic. It is a beautiful car. However, it is not very aerodynamic.
No, it's about as aerodynamic as a shoebox.
Indeed. So what I've got here is another M chassis car, which has a much lower profile shell on it. So when we were at the Iconic Cup, the guys that were in the A final all had low profile shells, and I think all of the minis, traditional classical minis, were in the B final.
Yeah.
No, not one of them made it to the A final.
No, I was in the B final. Where were you?
I was in the C final.
No, but yeah, they didn't. None of them stepped up to the A, and they were all pretty much, as you mentioned, that they were running a very low slung, low centre of gravity shell.
There we go. So we thought what we'd do is talk to you about body shells, because we've got a lot of people joining our local club racing the TT01E.
Yeah.
Now, this here is an original TT01 Impreza shell done to box art.
Looks
Now,
very nice, Carl.
it does look very nice, but if 5 people buy exactly the same car and 5 people do it up looking exactly the same, what's going to happen?
Yeah, we're going to kind of lose track of which car's which, right?
We are indeed.
And I'll tell you what, people like to put their own spin on these cars, don't they?
They do.
Yeah. Now this, you say it's box art, you haven't put the wing mirrors and the spoiler that comes with it. Is that something you're going to do?
Well, I still haven't decided, because if I'm going to put this on the shelf,
yeah,
I will put the wing mirrors on and I will put the Subaru Impreza spoiler on it.
good idea.
If I'm going to race it, those wing mirrors will last about a minute.
Yeah.
And I would then need to upgrade to this, which is the Tamiya race.
Yes, the race spoiler.
Yeah, the race spoiler. So if I'm going to race it, I will definitely upgrade to that. What is the point of upgrading the spoiler?
Well, the point of upgrading the spoiler is that it actually does work as a spoiler. It does give you a certain amount of downforce and makes the car handle better. Believe it or not, both of these cars are actually the same shell. I know it doesn't look it, but they are. This is your box art one. I always get I get a little bit upset when I see newbies come to the track and they bring this beautiful pristine car, and you see him come through the door and you think, oh, that car's not going to go home the way it arrived. You know, you don't want to tell them, do you? So hopefully they'll watch this video and go, I think I'll have that shell for, the shelf, and I'll have this shell for racing. Because it is nice, isn't it? You don't want to ruin it. You spent time and effort putting your stickers on, your decals and everything.
Yeah.
You don't want it to.
But you know what? Every beginner needs to go for it, because some of the time and effort I put into the early shells. My Beetle that I ran on my MO6 was beautiful.
Yeah.
My first couple of minis that I did were stunning as well. And they all smashed to bits by the end of the first night.
Lasted one night.
Yeah, and even if you are the best driver in the heat, there's going to be someone in that heat that isn't quite as good as you, and you are going to make contact at some point.
Exactly. And I think it's worth, when you invest in a shell, look at your club rules. What are you allowed to run? What are you not allowed to run? Typically, with a TT01 class, you normally stay with the shell it kind of comes with, right?
Yeah.
Or thereabouts.
So any sort of shell that you can get on a TT01, TT02, TA01, any of those sort of cars. What these cars are, they're based on road cars or cars that you might see in years gone by or out on the road. Whereas that shell on the end looks a bit different.
It certainly does. This is a Mazda, a protoform Mazda shell. In actual fact, it's quite an old one now, but the newer type ones are slightly different. But these are made for model cars. They've been put in wind tunnels, and they've had all the technology thrown at them to get them, running right. And if you look carefully, this is a lot lower, and goodness me, it's a lot lighter as well. Light is good when it comes to speed, not so good when it comes to durability. But I do believe, now we haven't run these two yet, but they're both the same car. However, I have a sneaky suspicion this car is going to is going to beat this car, hands down, with this shell. That's my personal thought about it. But so, you know what? If you want any advice, I would say, number one, look at what your club rules are saying you can run. And if it is a car much like this one here, this is probably one of the lowest scale shells we could find, isn't it?
Well, for the TT01, it was between this and the VW, and the VW was definitely higher than that.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to get one that's low. So you know, all right, well, you know, use the one you've got. But if you want that little extra, then look for a slightly lower slung shell.
Yeah, and when it comes to colours, choose something that you can recognise as your own. A grey/silver car on a grey carpet is quite difficult to track at speed. That's why we go with our nice bright colours. And in the past, I've gone full fluorescent. I think you've gone pink in the past, haven't you?
I've gone pink in the past.
Yeah. So if everyone at your club's running red shells, do something different. Stand out.
Exactly. Another little tip for you: if you want to keep your weight down, only give your shell a few coats. Some people like to give it, you know, have one coat, let it dry, do another one, let it dry. But if you put too much on, by all means do it, but it's going to be heavier. If it's heavier, it's going to roll more, not giving you so much grip in the corners. So my advice is just to be a little bit lean on your spray paints. But again, personal choice, whatever you want to do.
And again, that comes down to whether it's going to be a shelf queen or a race car. Anyway, hopefully that has been helpful to you. If you've got any more questions that you want to put to us, feel free to put it in the comments below. We'll do our best to make content throughout the year to hopefully inform people that are new to the hobby.
Absolutely. Don't forget to like, subscribe and smash the old ding dong bell. Tune in again soon and we'll see you then.